Well, it's Wednesday, midweek, and today is the third day in the month of June 2020, the second edition of the program, the platform for this week, right here on Flow 94.9 FM. This is the Flow of God's own state. Welcome. It is the pinnacle of all discussions. We take a look at issues as it affects our dear nation, Nigeria. My name is Michael Oni. Now, this morning we're taking a look at some court matters, although we can talk about it because it's been decided by the court, and there is no more legal matters before the court. Court of a competent jurisdiction on this particular issue. So we will be talking about the court order yesterday that that said that the past governor of Abia State, Orji Kalu, should be released. Now, in case you do not know, let me quickly bring you up to speed on what is happening. The Lagos Division of the Federal High Court ordered the immediate release of the former Abia State Governor, Orji Kalu, from the Nigerian Correctional Service. Now, Justice Mohammed Liman, the judge, granted an application moved by Mr. Kalu's counsel, Latif Fagbemi, seeking his release. Now, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission did not oppose the application. Let me give you the details now. In December last year, the court had sentenced Mr. Kalu, then a serving senator and still a senator, to 12 years in prison for 7.65 billion naira fraud. Now, Mr. Kalu was tried alongside his company, Slock Nigeria Limited, and Ude Udeogu, who was the director of finance and account at the Abia State during the period in question. Now, in an amended 39 counts charge, they were accused by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission of conspiring and diverting over 7.65 billion naira from the coffers of the state. Now, following the nullification of his conviction by the Supreme Court on May 8, the former governor filed an application at the federal court seeking an order for his release from the custody of the Nigerian Correctional Service in Kuje, that's in Abuja. Mr. Kalu had been accused of mismanaging those funds belonging to the Abia State government during his days as the governor between 1999 and 2007. He pleaded not guilty but was sentenced in December 2019 to 12 years imprisonment. And he was jailed alongside Ude Udeogu, who was the director of finance, and the duo appealed the convictions by the Lagos Division of the Federal High Court up to the Supreme Court level. Now, on May 8th, that's this year, last month, the Supreme Court ordered a retrial of the case. A 7-member panel of the Apex Court, in a unanimous verdict delivered by Justice Ejembi Eko, invalidated the conviction. Justice Eko declared that Justice Mohammed Idris, who convicted the duo, was already a justice of the Court of Appeal when he ruled and sentenced Mr. Kalu and his co-defendants. Now, he held that a justice of the Court of Appeal cannot operate as a judge of the Federal High Court, and ordered the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court to reassign the case for trial. And the report said the Apex Court said Section 398, subsection 7 of the Administration of the Criminal Justice Act 2015, on which the former president of the Court of Appeal, Zainab Okachua, relied on to authorize the trial judge to return to the High Court to conclude the trial, was unconstitutional. So we're taking a look at that this morning, and of course we're also taking a look at the legal implication that will be later on the program. But joining us on the conversation this morning is Barrister Victor Etie, a member of the legal team of Mr. Orji Kalu. Glad to have you join us, Barrister. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. You're welcome.
All right. One will be asking, what led to the legal team going back to the court despite the Supreme Court's judgment that said that he should be released, and invalidated that initial judgment that led to him being incarcerated at the Nigerian Correctional Service?
Okay, well, The last time I was on Flow FM
Yes.
on live, I did tell you that after the conviction, by which has now been annulled and declared illegal, Ududog before then had a pending application, whereby he disputed the decision of Justice Mohammed Idris, to try that matter having been elevated to the Supreme Court. And that application was thrown out by Justice Idris. He proceeded to Court of Appeal. From there, he proceeded to Supreme Court. And he was the appellant. Orji Kalu was one of the respondents in that matter. In other words, what he means, was that he was the one that, stopped the interpretation of the Supreme Court, based on the consistency of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act in relation to the Constitution. So Orji Kalu was a respondent. I think he was the second respondent. Federal government of Nigeria was the first respondent, and then Flock, was the third respondent. So the Supreme Court, in their wisdom, ruled that the Justice Idris has no jurisdiction to try that matter having been elevated to the court of appeal, and declared the conviction trial and every other thing that followed null and void. But then they went ahead and said that even though the whole conviction as it relates to Orji Kalu, the Udogo, Flock, is unconstitutional and null and void. But that the order to release, only relates to the Udogo as the appellant.
Okay.
Yes, as the appellant. I've already told you that Orji Kalu was a respondent. A respondent is somebody that was joined, a necessary party or something. So he was a respondent. So he was in black and white, in their judgment that it relates to the appellant, because in law, when parties come before the court, even though they affect a third party, they go directly to who made that application personally.
So the argument, one will be saying that the argument of the Nigerian Correctional Service is was that Mr. Kalu was a respondent in that case and not the appellant. So meaning the judgment only applies to the appellant, who happens to be Mr. Udeogu.
No, it doesn't. The judgment doesn't only apply to Udeogu. Remember that if you read the judgment nullified the whole the six number. The judgment mentioned the six number. And that six number is the same six number with Uzor and the Udogo.
Okay.
They were tried under one charge. You understand? So
my question now this morning: what led to the continued incarceration of Mr. Kalu, despite that Supreme Court judgment that led to your team going back to the court to seek a redress to this matter?
That's what I'm telling you now.
Okay.
Since the Supreme Court said that the order to release, mind you, the order to release and the nullification are two different orders. The Supreme Court nullified the first proceedings, including the one of Orji Kalu and the Udogo. Of course, they are one proceeding because they are one charge and one six number.
Okay.
But then I went ahead to say that the order to release from them applies to Udogo as the applicant. Now, our own now is to go back to that court because we are not the applicants, the appellant at the Supreme Court. So what happened was that after we got that judgment, from the Supreme Court, the order to release didn't mention Orji Kalu from Supreme Court. So that's why the Correctional Service said, okay, since they've understood that the whole judgment was fact, but the order to release specially mentioned the Udogo. So and this rightly, is the correct procedure. So what is now left for us is now to use that judgment to now go to the Supreme Court, attach it, file a motion, and order that he be released, mentioning his name specifically. So that's what we do. And the delay, it was supposed to be elementary. It was supposed to be just something that should have been fixed, but it was a salary that delayed it, and the judge, didn't resume on time. So it wasn't that put it on 2nd of June. So assuming we got that, assuming as we got that order that day, we applied, and the motion was fixed for the next day. The other would have still been gotten. So him and the dog would have come out the same day. So it was just a salad date, that delayed it, but it's just the rightful, procedure. We didn't go to Federal High Court for them to quash the trial. No, the trial has been quashed.
All right.
We went there for them to now specifically, order his release by mentioning his name as we want to be released. Yes.
So can you tell us what transpired at the court premises yesterday?
Well, at the court premises yesterday, we indicated, we've already filed this motion, served the respondent. The respondent is the EFCC, the federal government, and every other party. And in law, they should have 7 days to respond. They didn't put up any counter, but they didn't object, to the motion. So yesterday, the CSCC lawyer, led by Dr. Jacob, FAN, was in court. So after we moved our motion, he didn't oppose it on behalf of the EFCC. He said that they are not opposing the motion, that the prayers that the prayers contained in our motion are justified, and legal. So it was just a straight, way traffic for the court. So the court looked at the motion, agreed with us that it has merit, and granted all our prayers, all our prayers. They are actually like, 2 or 3 prayers there. But the specific one was that the specific order directing the Federal Correctional Service to specifically release Orji Uzor. I've already told you now that the Supreme Court did not specifically mention his name as he wants to be released, but they nullified his conviction at trial. So this one now specifically mentioned his name as he wants to be released.
Interesting. Can you also confirm to us whether Orji Uzor Kalu has been freed?
As we are speaking now, as of yesterday, the order was ready, and but the Federal High Court that granted the release order is in Lagos, while Orji Uzor Kalu is in Abuja, and there is no slight movement. As of yesterday evening, they are already on their way to Abuja. So I'm sure by now they should be in Abuja with the order. And you've heard what the spokesman for the Correctional Service has said. So once the order comes, will be out. But as of now, no.
Okay. The Economic and the Financial Crimes Commission also said that they are ready to restart the prosecution. Is your team ready as well?
Oh, we've already been ready, from the word go. If you notice, there's been a review of the legacy of the previous minister, Orji Uzor Kalu, from what it was previously, more, you say the more the merrier, 2 heads are always better than one. So there are more experience, more legal minds in the team, so, and we have been positive results, from the time they all came in, and we are taking it continue. So the team is intact, as you can see, and we are ready. We are ready, very, very, very much ready, for years.
All right, Barrister Victor Etie, thank you very much for speaking to us this morning.
You're welcome.
We do appreciate your time. All right, that Barrister Victor is a member of the legal team to Orji Uzor Kalu, and he was present at the court premises yesterday, explaining to us exactly what transpired at the court premises. It is the platform we're trying to get across to a legal practitioner to give us, the legal frameworks concerning this judgment, and of course, what will be the next action, probably from the EFCC, and also what may be the next action of both the EFCC, that's the Economic and the Financial Crimes Commission, and the former governor of Abia State. It is the platform, Wednesday edition, right here on Flow 94.9 FM. Very soon we will open the phone lines, but let's take a breather. At Flow 94.9 FM, we've got conducive and well-secured environment for business, high-tech video studio, a state-of-the-art production studio. You can also listen live on www.flow949fm.com and watch our videos on YouTube at Flow FM TV. Flow 94.9 FM, not just radio, but a complete broadcasting house. Well, it is still the platform right here on Flow 94.9 FM, the third edition for the week. And of course, we'll take a look at issues. Now, this morning, we're still taking a look at that court order that yesterday, the legal division of the Federal High Court ordered the immediate release of the former Rabia State Governor, Orji Uzor Kalu, from the Nigerian Correctional Service. Now, joining us on the conversation this morning is a former second vice president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Barrister Monday Ubani. Glad to have you join us this morning, Barrister.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. How are you, my brother?
I'm fine. My name is Michael, and you're live on. Yes, you're live on Flow 94.9 FM. Now, let's go back to the legal frameworks. How easy will it be for the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to restart that prosecution?
Already, when the Supreme Court made the pronouncement, if you remember vividly, the EFCC came out with a statement that they are ready to restart the matter de novo, and that their witnesses are all available. So we need to believe them on their statement that they have all the witnesses ready to start the matter de novo, because that is the Supreme Court pronouncement that you have to start the matter afresh before a different judge entirely. And so it is for EFCC now to assemble their witnesses. I don't know whether they want to firm out this particular case to an outside lawyer or they want to handle it internally. That will be at their own discretion. But as the Supreme Court has already pointed out, the order does not mean a discharge and acquittal for Orji and the co-accused, so they can be tried afresh. So it's for them now to restart the matter immediately it comes out, if they are ready. But if they are not ready with witnesses, that would be a very big setback for them.
Oh, okay, Barrister, some persons are thinking that this last outing at the court was not necessary, taking a look at the judgment already by the Supreme Court and the Nigerian Correctional Service still holding on to Orji Uzor Kalu.
Yeah, if you remember that it was not Orji Uzor Kalu that actually appealed to the Supreme Court on the interlocutory matter. It was the co-accused that went on appeal. And so when that pronouncement was made by the Supreme Court, they got what we call an enrollment order. The enrollment orders did not specifically mention Orji OUK as a beneficiary of that decision, because he was not the appellant. He was a respondent in the matter that was before the Supreme Court. So, the Correctional Center, they will want to see specifically the name of the OUK in the enrollment before they can carry out the instruction of releasing him from their custody. So, in the absence of that name, they rejected to release him. And that's why these procedural measures now were now taken by the team of lawyers of Orji Uzor Kalu, who now went back to the Federal High Court. And then yesterday, Justice Liman of Federal High Court in Lagos now made a pronouncement based upon the Supreme Court pronouncement that the entire trial that was handled by the former justice was clearly a nullity. So there was nothing to stand on. There is no reason to hold him. I also agree with you from what you said, that based upon the pronouncement of the Supreme Court, there wouldn't have been any basis for the continued detention of Orji Uzor Kalu. But you see, these things are procedural. And so the Correctional Center would like to have something that is written, showing that this man should be released. And in the absence of his name being expressly mentioned in the enrollment order, they now, had to, rely upon that absence to deny him release. So I think it's just a matter of procedure, and I'm very happy that it has been complied fully. There is no reason and basis now for withholding Orji Uzor Kalu in custody.
Okay, one might be asking now, the delay in his release from the Nigerian Correctional Service, a procedural process. It was due to procedures and not probably linked to any political related issues now, because the man in question is a political figure, especially as far as the Nigerian politics is concerned, and some of his supporters are worried that there is a backing somewhere. Someone is ensuring that Orji Kalu remains in prison.
Well, I cannot competently, agree with such a view if there is no concrete evidence to back it up. As I've explained, the enrollment order with which the lawyers went to ask for his release did not actually contain his name. So even if there is anything behind, those people have a reason for refusal. Now, it will be given such interpretation if after the court, the Federal High Court has actually ordered his release, and they obtain the court order and then go back to the same correctional center, and then the correctional center now begin to foot drag in releasing him. Somebody can now competently begin to insinuate that there's something more to it than meets the eye.
Okay.
But in the absence of that, that his name was not in that enrollment order, I will still want to believe that it was issue of procedure and had nothing whatsoever to do with politics. But it's only after this express order now has been made by the court, and the team of lawyers now get enrollment order and then approach the correctional center, and they now tend to disobey. That is going to be contempt of the court. If they disobey now to release Orji Kanu from custody after we have gotten an express order, then that will be a contempt of court, and then some people now can actually be in a position to read any meaning concerning his continued detention.
Okay, as it stands now, it is proper for the Nigerian Correctional Service to release Orji Kalu based on the court order yesterday. Is there any other thing that can stop the Nigerian Correctional Service from releasing him?
Now, it will even be very wrong, for anyone to contemplate anything, maybe going on appeal. If you remember that this was a Supreme Court judgment, the Supreme Court expressly made a pronouncement that the entire proceeding that led to his conviction and sentence was clearly a nullity. That pronouncement was made by the Supreme Court of the land, which is the highest court, and you are not going to appeal to any other court after the Supreme Court has made a pronouncement. Now, as I said earlier, because of the fact that his name was not clearly part of the judgment, it was only Dogo, so he has to now approach the lower court now to actually complete the entire process by agreeing that the entire process was a nullity. That's why the court ordered his immediate release. So I don't see any reason why anyone, either the correctional center or any other bureaucrat, should withhold releasing Orji Kanu from detention. But as I said earlier, that does not mean that he cannot face new trial process.
Okay.
He can now be arraigned, and then he will now probably apply for his bail, which I know that will be granted as of right, because any accused person in Nigeria is presumed to be innocent until the contrary. So he is still, whatever he is facing now is still an allegation until that is proven. So in the absence of any appeal, which I know nobody will want to appeal against a judgment of the Supreme Court, because if you want to appeal over this particular ruling yesterday, it then means that we are appealing against the judgment of the Supreme Court, because Supreme Court said the entire process was a nullity. So what are you appealing against? So what will be the reason for actually denying releasing him from custody? And now, I don't know whether you want to ask me a question about what took place, because I understand that
I was going to ask you that too.
Beautiful. Now, when Orji was convicted and sentenced, I issued a press statement, and I clearly analyzed the legal implication of his conviction and sentence. And I made it expressly clear that Orji Kanu will still answer a senator, even until death. Secondly, I also made it expressly clear that he will remain a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria until certain things happen. One of the things that will happen is if he's recalled. If he's recalled by the people of his constituency, the senatorial district.
That's Abia North Senatorial District.
Beautiful, and they have to follow. It's a procedure. INEC will be involved in the recall process and all that. So
It is only when he is recalled that he loses his seat. Another way he can also lose his seat is if he fails to meet the required number of days, for attendance. Then his seat can be declared vacant by the Senate President. But only the Senate President has that particular power to declare his seat vacant, during which he loses his seat as a Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, or he resigns, or death. These are the circumstances under which he can lose his seat. But as long as the Court of Appeal, if you remember vividly in Owerri, he confirmed his senatorial victory sometime last year, I think, or this year, he can never cease to be the senator representing his constituency until those things I've mentioned. If those things do not take place, nobody has any right. So those people who went to the Senate premises yesterday asking for his seat to be declared vacant, they must look at the provision of the Constitution, whether he has now not met the requisite number of attendance required by the Constitution before he can now ask the Senate President to declare his seat vacant. If he has not, if he miss it, then there is no reason for that. They're only trying to play to the gallery. What they should have done, if they are really representatives of the people of that constituency, what they should have even done is to initiate a process of recall and not going to the Senate President asking for his seat to be declared vacant, whereas he has not, failed in meeting the required number of days allowed by law, by the Constitution.
Barrister, permit me to take you political-wise this morning. What is the political implication of this judgment to Abia State, to Abia North Senatorial District, where the senator is representing, and of course to the All Progressives Congress?
Well, the position of things, as I said earlier, was the mistake that was made in not amending the provision of the Constitution. Remember when the Administration of Criminal Justice Act was amended?
I mean the political implication.
Yes, I'm coming. So that people can understand that what has happened is that it's not as if Orji has been asked to go scot-free. We must understand it that way. So he is still going to face his trial. For political, he is still, as I said earlier, the representative of the people. He will still remain the senator until those other things, even if he's convicted again, he will still answer the senator, because that is what the law has. The law did not make any provision that actually disqualifies you when you have elected and then you now get convicted for any criminal act. It's only when you are a convict and you now want to contest election. You cannot contest election until after 10 years, after you have been convicted of any crime, especially for fraud or any related offense. You cannot in any way contest election until after 10 years. But when you are already elected and then you are convicted of any crime, the Constitution did not make a provision for your disqualification. You can still be whatever you are until the normal provisions of the Constitution are activated, like impeachment, or recall as for senatorial, or declaration of vacancy, or you resign. So the Constitution did not make provision that when you are already elected and you commit any crime and you are convicted, then you lose your seat. No, it didn't say so. So that's why people need to understand these things. I'm not interpreting sentiment now. I'm interpreting what the law says.
Okay.
Until we amend our law, we cannot in any way. So for APC, there are a lot of people that love OUK as a person. When he was a governor and all that, of course, he has been trying to come to the Senate for a very long time, but been denied, due to some irregularity. But now you can see that his people love him, because if his people do not like him, I think they have a right to ask for his recall. They have a right to initiate a process of his recall. So it's not the issue of going to the Senate. It's the issue of people now who are the constituents, people who elected him, have a right now to say, this man we have elected, he has not satisfied our requirement for him to be there. Then let's start the process of recall. But I didn't see that from his constituency. So that means that he's still being loved by his own people. And there are things he may have done for them that actually they appreciate. But we also, for Abia as a whole, we must try to understand where we are coming from. Orji was the one that was elected in 1999 to run. As a governor, he became the governor. There are certain things that Orji as a person, did well, and there are things also he did not do well. There are many things, people who have some things against him as a grudge. There are people also who appreciate what he did. But you see, the foundation is very key. The foundation of Abia was not properly laid. Because if Abia's foundation has been properly laid, where we are today as a state, we're not going to be there. Abia is one of the least developed states, and that is the reality. We have not gotten it right with the issue of leadership. And the day we get it right as a state, with all the oil money that comes, with all the resources, and with Aba being the capital economic city of Nigeria, I'm not talking about Abia State. Aba is economic capital city of Nigeria. That if a good leader comes in and turn Aba into Japan, into Dubai, nobody will ever compete with Abia State as a state in terms of internally generated revenue. I remember buying a lot of suits. I remember coming to Aba to buy shoes. I remember coming to Aba for many things. Then it was called Aba made shoes. And we were competing with even China. Look at China, where China is now in terms of China products and then Aba products and all that. Aba would have gone far. It's just basic infrastructural development. Put Aba today with infrastructure, develop their roads. Those guys are engineers. They are fantastic. Their brain is sharp. They can turn Aba into something and turn Abia State one of the highly internally generated revenue states and all that. But today, we have not been able to have that, in terms of leadership. So I pray that we'll be able to get it right. So in terms of the question you have asked about leadership and Abia as a state, we have not been able to get it right in terms of it. But I know that one day, something will happen in Abia that will begin to get it right. He was the one that laid the foundation. The foundation, some people appreciate, the foundation, some other people do not appreciate. Where we are today is not where we're supposed to have been if the proper foundation has been laid.
All right, Barrister Amanda Ubani, thank you very much for being part of the platform this morning. The former second vice president of the Nigerian Bar Association.
It's my pleasure, Samson.
All right, thank you very much. There you have Barrister Amanda Ubani explaining the legal frameworks and also the political and the legal implication of this judgment. We want to hear from you. What do you make of what is happening now? The latest development concerning the Orji Uzor Kalu, the former governor of Abia State, between 1999 and 2003. Now, the lines are very much open. 0808 182 6949 or 0811 605 2949. You can also drop messages on 0906 510 8289. Hello, good morning to you.
Yeah, hello, good morning, Michael.
Good morning.
Yeah, can you hear me clear?
What's your name, please?
Yeah, I am Mr. Love Michael Modumaya.
Welcome.
I'll get straight to the point. I don't have much to say, but all I have to say is, obviously, you really done so much for us, like in the time before.
No, okay, I did lost that due to network. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello?
Welcome, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning to you. Welcome to the conversation.
Really?
What's your name?
My name is Henry Enyoko.
All right, you're
I'm
welcome.
calling from Umogilentega in Isialangwa North.
Welcome, Henry.
For the people of Abia State, especially those of us, those people from Abia North, it's a welcome news. It's a very good one. But Orji Uzor Kalu, as a matter of fact, has one or two things to do. In those days, during his tenure as a governor, there were people, hello?
I can hear you, please.
There were people he called deadwood, that is retired people. Those people who retired, that is retirees. He called them deadwood, and they all came out and they casted a spell. They cursed him. What I am saying is this. I'm saying what I'm saying in good faith. People may think I'm against him. He should invite 17 retirees from one retiree from 17 local government areas of Abia State to come together and pray for him and then ask God to forgive him. His problem will be solved. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your contribution. That's another angle anyways. Hello, good morning to you.
Well, good morning.
You're welcome. What's your name?
My name is Mr. I am calling from Brentwood.
You're welcome, Mr.
I represent from Mr.
Okay.
Well, my brother, I want to tell you just a few about Orji Kalu. Orji Kalu is a man we can be proud of in Abia North and the Abia State, Nigeria as a whole. I believe that no reasonable human being can call a radio station or anywhere to castigate Orji Kalu.
You won't use such. Everyone is entitled to his opinion. So.
Yes, no
Right.
problem.
Right.
My contribution is just that we are proud of Orji Kalu and it's God working for him. So I want to advise those that have gathered to work against Orji Kalu. That working against Orji Kalu is like somebody working against God. We know that Orji Kalu is not a perfect human being. He during his time, it's not that he's perfect, but we benefited a lot from him. That's why we keep on talking about him. We are not saying that Orji is a saint, but he did a lot of things which nobody has challenged him in that state as a governor or as a politician. So we are saying that those people should do something. They said that they went to protest at Abuja. We heard that it's a Kogi people, the highest Kogi people, people from Benue State, a lot of people from different zones. Those people are stranded at Abuja. They could not pay them. So
How are you sure of the information you're dishing out, anyways?
Yes, my brother, I am just giving you this information.
That's according to your source. All right.
We are comfortable with Orji. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Hello.